No problem. You need to put your microphone down.
I know.
You have to. Okay. I now call the Board of Commissioners June 6th meeting to order. I'm going to ask roll call from the clerk.
Chairman Morgan.
Here.
Vice Chairman Chance.
Here.
Commissioner McClendon. Commissioner Lee.
Here.
Commissioner Fuller.
Here.
Commissioner Reynolds.
Here.
Commissioner Bailey.
Here.
At this time, I'm going to ask Commissioner Chance to do the invocation, and Commissioner Lee will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us bow our heads. Dear Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this opportunity to meet together to discuss items that affect our community. We thank you for the leadership here. We thank you for our staff that are here, and we thank you for the citizens who are partaking in county government. Please lead, guide, and direct us in making quality decisions, and that all things would be pleasing in your eyes. Give us traveling mercies as we leave here today. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Please remove your cover. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you both. At this time, I'll ask for a motion and a second to approve the agenda.
Madam Chairman, I have one item 9.1, that's on the consent agenda, and I would like to put that on the regular agenda, take it off the consent agenda.
Okay. So do I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda with the amendment of removing 9.1 from consent and putting it on the regular agenda?
Motion.
Second, no problem.
Okay. Who was first?
Me.
Ernie.
Okay, I didn't hear anything. Okay, that's why I heard the second. All right, great. So I have a motion and a second.
Can't turn my volume up.
Well, you got to talk into the mic. All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, great. I'm now going to ask for a motion and a second to approve the minutes of 6.1, the work session of April 27th, the meeting minutes from May the 2nd, and the budget work session minutes from May the 10th.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Motion carries 7-0.
Great. At this time, we're going to move into public comments. And public comments are just that. They're an opportunity for the public to address the Commission with any issues or concerns they may have. All remarks should be directed to the chairman and not to individual commissioners, staff, or citizens in attendance. Members of the public shall not make inappropriate or offensive comments. Any individual who violates the rules of decorum may be removed from the meeting. At this time, the board will not comment, nor will the board take any action on the comments. And speakers are limited to 3 minutes. There was a sign-up sheet in back, but there were no signatures, so I'll ask at this time if there's anyone here who would like to come and speak during the public comment section. I'll ask one more time, is there anyone else here that would like to speak during the public comments? Okay, well, seeing and hearing none, we're now going to move into our special presentations. We have 2 of our staff members, Thad Ferguson, Director of Recreation, and Beth Parsons, our park manager. Both of them have successfully gone through the ACCG Lifelong Learn Academy, and they have received the Certified County Official. Very similar, the exact same program that county commissioners go through. They both have successfully completed it. So if y'all come forward, I'll present you with your plaques.
Yeah, we need that.
The certification program is a 60 hours, almost comes to about 6 weeks in working through the program because they have travel time involved and they learn all about county government from accounting, finance, to parks, to recreation, and ethics and other things like that. So thank you both for participating in the program. The next thing we have, another great thing, we have the National Association of County Government, the High Performance Leadership Master. We have two county employees, also Jody Goodman and Mandy, who have received this award. And this was what, it was almost 4 months worth, once a week, wasn't it? It was very long. And this is through the Colin Powell Leadership Academy. So this was another thing we're going to present them with. The Colin Powell leadership classes that they went through, they worked online with many other county employees and elected officials from all over the United States. And they shared different information with each other to better our county as well as better the counties of the people they had in their different cohorts. So thank you, all four of y'all, for investing the time to do better in your jobs and to help us as elected officials. So thank you. At this point, we're going to move into the consent agenda. We're moving 9.1, so we have 9.2, the opioid and fentanyl awareness campaign. 9.3 is a transit contract renewal. 9.4 is the appointments of Region 4 EMS, which is Tim Paget and Gary Thomas. 9.5 is the Carroll County Board of Family and Children's Services. I believe that's Jill Adams. 9.6, the appointment to the Region 6 Behavioral Health, which is reappointing our Judge Edie Haney. And 9.7, the Public Works Vehicle Replacement Purchase. So there's actually 6 items on the consent agenda, and this will be one vote. So all those who are in favor? Any opposed?
Do we need a motion?
Oh, I'm sorry. I said, well, I guess I need a motion. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion
I knew it was
to
one
approve
vote,
the
yeah.
consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, so I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Okay, motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, I guess we will go back and do 9.1, the Coweta Judicial Circuit Resolution to stay in order. So, Commissioner Fuller, you want to address that?
Well, it wasn't so much the resolution, it was the makeup of the board, or not the board, this ad hoc committee that's been put together. I talked to Judge Simpson about it today, and I went back and looked at I guess it's called a video of the work session. Of course, you can't ask questions watching a video. So I have several questions. I talked to Judge Simpson. He was here a while ago. Anyway, I talked to Judge Simpson today, and he and I are going to meet and talk about some things that I have questions on. I guess what I'm asking, can we table this until the July meeting?
I don't believe there's a time frame on this necessarily. I know whatever decision we make, they want to be able to go to the legislature in the late fall. So I don't think that's a problem.
Okay, well, I mean, you guys, I wasn't here. You got one voice here that's kind of got the questions. Obviously, y'all knew more about it than I did, so.
So I've had some conversations with the district attorney, Mr. Cranford, and I know one of the comments was that we hoped that the committee's process could move along somewhat in a timely fashion so that whatever decision the board does come up with, if it's incongruent with the rest of the decisions that are being made in the other counties, that it's something that there's ample time to move forward in discussing things with the legislature. So based off of that information, I don't know, I mean, I want to be amenable to your concerns, but in the same note, putting it off an entire another month, that may run into a problem, because then the committee, I guess, is not necessarily functioning or running during that time frame. Of course, I have nothing to do with the makeup of the committee, even though I was asked to be on it, but I would have some concerns based off conversations that I've had for us to delay that a month.
Well, what I'm concerned about is there's no representation on this committee from the district attorney's office or from the public defender's office. This is going to affect them, so how come why are they not on the committee?
As I stated, I had nothing to do with the makeup of the committee. The chairman may be able to answer that question. I simply ran the meeting last week, and I was asked would I be on the committee, but I had nothing to do with the makeup of it. So I'm not aware of what decision process went into the committee makeup.
Well, I mean, y'all were here. You heard what all the judge had to say. Do we need to have the DA and somebody from the public defender's office on the committee?
I think Clint had a conversation with the DA about that today.
I did have a conversation with the public defender and with the district attorney, and I stated to them, as far as my work on the committee, I would certainly be calling them. There's already been some information that was sent to me from the public defender. I guess there's kind of two proposals on the table as Judge Simpson presented, possibly a Carol Hurd or another option of a Carol Hurd troop. So I've received some documentation, but much like we do with the budget process, I explained to both of them, you know, I'll be reaching out and working with them singularly as I'm represented on the committee. But here again, I'm not speaking for the committee because I didn't form it, but they would be, you know, involved as far as I'm concerned, as far as my placement on the committee, but I can't speak to anything past that.
Okay, well, I can go along with this as long as you can assure me that with two commissioners on this board, that you guys can represent the DA and the public defender, that they get a say-so in this.
I can give you my word, as I just stated, that I've already been in contact with them, and I will continue to be in contact with them as a member of the committee. And here again, just reiterating, I'm not saying you don't have a valid point. I'm just saying I did not form the committee. So I think that they definitely do need to have a voice, but it's also not up to me individually to sit and say who should not be or who should be on the committee. So, but yes, I, for my singular self, will be communicating with both of them.
Okay.
So for clarifications, Judge Simpson put the committee together, and probably, I'm just going to guess, the DA is in favor of the circuit split. He has already spoken at Rotary and some other organizations, the pastor's lunch, so he is in favor of it. I think what it is for us as Carroll County, what is the best way to do it that benefits Carroll County citizens? So I don't know necessarily if the DA being on that committee would be advantageous, but your questions about the public defender would be good. So it could be that we could just ask him when you're on the committee if he would like to add her, or if y'all as a committee want to add her. That could be an option possibly.
Okay.
Is that,
I'll be happy to ask.
okay. Does that work?
That works.
Okay,
And
great.
to Commissioner Chance's point, I know I heard from Herb Cranford too, and he mentioned, I think, as far as time frame, just hoping that we could get something out, or the committee could get something out by the middle of August at least. Again, as you said, Commissioner, not to postpone legislative action and that kind of thing. So I think time is of the essence, like you said.
Well, and in my conversation with the judge today, he emphasized that another jurisdiction, and I'm not going to say who, but they kind of rushed through it, and he said it's a disaster. So he wants to make sure And I agree that when we do this, we do it correctly, but I don't want to drag our feet on this.
Okay. So we're good, if you'll make a motion,
Okay.
to maybe, to approve as presented with the hopes that the committee would add any other voices or ask any questions of people who are not on the committee.
So stated.
I have a motion and a second now. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion carries 6-0.
Great. Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
All right. We're now going to move into the business session. We have 10.1, the budget resolution, and 10.2, which is the budget amendment. And I will call the finance director up. Alicia, you should have this memorized by now.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. We have the budget resolution for the fiscal year of 2024. That year begins on July the 1st of 2023. We've got a resolution and ordinance providing for the appropriations and expenditures of funds from the government of Carroll County, Georgia for the county fiscal year 2024, beginning July 1, 2023, and ending June 30th of 2024. Providing for the operations of the county departments, boards, agencies, elected offices, and other governmental activities, to provide for the level of personnel authorized for the various departments and agencies, to provide for capital improvements as budgeted for the county, to provide an effective date, and for other purposes. Whereas in compliance with OCGA 36-8-1 and the county's enabling legislation, a revenue estimate for the following year and proposed budget that will govern the expenditures of all funds expected to be available to the county for the following year, including expenditures related to capital outlays and public works projects, has been submitted to the Board of Commissioners, and whereas a copy of the proposed budget along with all required public notices has been published, and whereas the governing authority held a public hearing on June the 6th, 2023 at 10 a.m., and whereas the proposed budget and recommendations have been presented to the Board of Commissioners, including recommendations for changing in position as follows: an additional full-time IT specialist in the IT department, an additional part-time court coordinator for state court, an additional victim advocate position for the solicitor's office, an additional full-time gymnastics coordinator position for recreation. Now, therefore, be it resolved and ordained by the Board of Commissioners of Carroll County as follows. Section 1, pursuant to OCGA 36-81-81-1, as amended, the sums of money summarized in Exhibit A attached hereto and made a part of this resolution and ordinance shall be and hereby adopted by the Board of Commissioners as the operating budget and capital budget for the government of Carroll County, Georgia for the fiscal year 2024 beginning on July 1, 2023 and ending on June 30th, 2024. Furthermore, the Board of Commissioners hereby adopts the Chairman's proposed changes in certain positions, departments, and offices as follows. That includes the addition of the full-time IT specialist in the IT department, the addition of one part-time court coordinator in the state court, the addition of one full-time victim advocate position in the solicitor's office, the addition of one full-time gymnastics coordinator position for recreation. Section 2, the appropriations of all funds for all departments and agencies shall be set forth in Exhibit A. Section 3, the fee schedule attached hereto as Exhibit B shall be the fees for each respective department and shall be published on the county's website. Section 4, the funds provided and contracts made herein for the procurement of supplies, materials, and services for all departments and agencies shall be expended in accordance with this budget, its attachments, and purchasing policies and procedures established by the county. Section 5, the financial transactions of all county departments and agencies authorized to expend county funds shall be recorded and maintained in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles and standards. Section 6, in accordance with Georgia Code 33-8-8, the proceeds from the tax on insurance premium estimated to be $5,600,000 shall be used for the provision of fire protection services for the residents of the unincorporated area of the county. Section 7, the budget documents and attachments entitled Fiscal Year 2024 Adopted Budget for Carroll County, Georgia shall be maintained on file in the office of the Board of Commissioners and available for public inspection. Section 8, a copy of the final budget adopted shall be transmitted to the grand jury of the Superior Court of Carroll County. Section 9, the budget and other matters set forth in this resolution and ordinance shall be effective as of July 1, 2023. Section 10, all ordinances, resolutions, or other acts or parts thereof in conflict with this ordinance are hereby repealed. Approved this day of 2023 by the Chairman of the Board of Commissioners, Michelle Morgan. So this, the attachments are the general fund budget, the special revenue budget, and the debt service budget, and the solid waste budget that we discussed on last Thursday. I can go over those if you would like, or we've been over them, so I'll leave that open for questions.
Well, at this time, not seeing or hearing any questions, would someone like to make a motion in a second?
I'd like to make a motion to postpone the adoption of just for a brief period, possibly a week, of the fiscal year 24 budget and the affiliated resolution. While I totally support and have no qualms with the over $4 million increase because of giving raises to county employees, I totally support that. This has nothing to do with employee raises. I value our county employees and always have, and so this has nothing to do with that. I totally support that and have no problem with giving those raises or the $4 million associated with it. This does have to do with 3 issues, and I don't think the postponement will have any impact on county operations at all. It'll be hopefully brief, and we can reconvene maybe in a special call meeting in a week or so. But there are 3 issues that I think we just don't have solid enough information on, and we need some additional clarification and decisions, and I'll just mention those briefly. One is the cost of moving county offices from College Street to Old Noonan Road. For months we did not have any information on the timing nor the cost of that. But then middle of last week, we did have a meeting where Balfour Beatty put up some slides and gave us some information on that. I really appreciate that. It was sudden information, but it needed to be fast. But there was only a few slides on a PC, and we didn't actually get any cost estimate, although it was estimated that the cost would be small, whatever that is, but we didn't get any actual estimate or document or anything in writing out of that. So the second thing is there was an additional tenant that construction cost estimates and relocations associated with that that we're dealing with, and we're in the midst of those throes right now. And we find ourselves really in a scramble and a tight time frame and an information deficit situation. We don't have any solid cost on this yet. There are a plethora of issues to consider. I believe Commissioner Chance just recently indicated we'd be given an additional week from the federal agency, and so that might help situations. But we are operating with the understanding at first that the tenant would be in the new administration building, and consultants were sent out there to cover that agency's space needs and so on. But I'm going to be as gentle but forthright here as possible. Our chairman did not inform us, but decided that the tenant would not be in the new administration building, and we had no communication of that. Suddenly, we found ourselves in a scramble situation with a deadline of June 7th, where we had to figure out where this entity might be. It's an entity that serves all of the agriculture community and agriculture producers in our area, so we want to try as much as possible to keep this entity close to the agricultural center and with our other agricultural offices. But their lease expired, and like I say, we're dealing now with a June 7th tomorrow deadline. So with the cost, location, relocation, coordination with other county and state offices, coordination with the contractors and any architect involved or whatever, I give kudos to Commissioner Chance for handling that. And like I say, we just heard that we may have one more week to get that information together. The third point, and again, I don't like to mention this, but I'll be as gentle as possible, but forthright, I think I need to mention that after we passed the $1 an hour raise last year, I wanted to see what actually happened, and it seems that there's been some inequity in salary increases that are caused by the chairman's independent actions outside of the board's knowledge that advantaged a select few, a handful or less of county employees, and thereby disadvantaged the remaining 600 plus county employees. That is the problem that I have. I have no problem at all with the increases given as far as the resulting salaries. I have no desire to eliminate the raises. The point is not that the new salaries are above market rates. The point is simply that by advantaging a few select in her office, the chairman single-handedly disadvantaged and took the opportunity away from 600 other employees. Those raises given that I particularly have some angst with were 10,000, 12,000, 24,000 raises, equating to 16, 27, and nearly 39% to people in her office or otherwise. And other county employees had to be satisfied with a 2,080 raise, which is $1 an hour, not the 10,000, 12,000, and 24,000 that these people got. I just do not see that such, I would call it favoritism, can be shown. And I will say that from information I gathered from HR, that this type of thing did not happen in other departments, and it's not widespread. For example, one county office promoted someone to deputy director, and the raise given was 4.7%, which amounted to $3,000 some dollars, a very, very reasonable, equitable raise, but it wasn't 39%. My problem is there was no communication or approval by the board. It was single-handedly done by the chairman, and if we want a significant raise and so on, given, I think those things should be approved by the board at some possible cap should be placed. But again, my problem is just the disadvantaging that it amounted to the other 600 employees. I don't have a problem with the salary level or the salary amounts at all. So for those three reasons, cost of moving county offices, the additional tenant and the construction cost estimates there, and the salary increases, and possibly discussing that and coming up with some process that would amount to more equity, I make a motion to postpone the adoption of the fiscal year 24 budget and affiliated resolution. And of course, this ties to the next thing, which is the budget amendment, but not the same issues there.
So I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
So the discussion that I have, based off what Commissioner Reynolds has brought forward, you mentioned possibly postponing a week. I would not want to go any further than that, because I know a lot that goes into the new fiscal budget. Staff has to put in the raises and different things, and I know it wouldn't affect that. I'm just saying they've got to have time to make all that happen by July 1. As far as your comments that were made, the only thing that I would vocally say is that I know we are working on some things that I think we want to make sure we get possibly right in any of the excess revenues. If we need to move a line item here or there, that maybe we could have some more discussion, but that would be my only comment. But I just would want to ensure it does not go over a week, because I don't want to disadvantage any of the staff from all of their duties that they have to go through to make something happen by July 1.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why it would take very long at all. In a week, certainly it seems like enough time to get these three things discussed and resolved.
Any further discussion?
All right, let me be clear. We're talking about a lot of money here. So we're going to hold off on approving the budget for a week. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
I would not be amenable to anything further, but I didn't make the motion, I just made my comments.
Yeah.
So we're going to reconvene in a week and vote on the budget. Is that what we're going to do?
If that's what we agree to, yeah.
Well, if you vote that way, but you're
Yeah.
clarifying, Steve,
Okay,
correct?
just-
You're clarifying.
Making sure. $72 million is a lot of money. Okay.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of postponing the vote for 1 week on the budget? Any opposed?
Motion carries 5-1.
So tomorrow we'll have Linda, you'll get with the commissioners to see when is a favorable time within the next week to get together. Okay, I'm going to go to 10.2, the budget amendment. I'm going to call on the finance director again.
As presented at last Thursday's work session, we have a budget amendment for the fiscal year ending June 30th of 2023. We reviewed this pretty intently line by line, but in general, we're proposing a budget amendment to give employees retention bonuses for the fiscal year of 2023. And we are also including in that some capital purchases that we will actually move some of the money, $4,134,911 into a capital projects fund that will fund some projects that can happen through this year and through the extension of next fiscal year. So that money will be set aside. Additionally, we have a budget amendment to move $4,323,842,000 into the capital projects fund, which are projects that have been funded in prior years, but the money has not been expended yet. So that will give us the ability to have that money set aside for those capital projects That will move out of our committed fund balance in the general fund into that capital projects fund. In general, that's what the budget amendment is. And if there's any specific questions, I can answer those.
You know, I'm fine with the budget amendment as it's been laid out, but I think based off of the postponement of a week, I think this would tie into that same thing, just making sure some of the things that we may be going to discuss, you know, with real estate and so forth, just making sure that there's no line items that needed to be adjusted based off of that conversation. But as far as what's been put together and what we've discussed as it sits now before those conversations happen, you know, I'm happy with where it's sitting.
Okay.
So do I have a motion and a second?
I'd like to make a motion to postpone that also, just for the same time period, and we can handle it at the same time. One of the issues that I have is that we need to decide how and where to allocate. I believe you mentioned last time, Alicia, there could be as much as $6 million instead of the $4 million, and I'm totally fine with the $2 million that you have allocated for county employees. I don't think any of us have a problem with that. But the $6 million is $2 million more than we have discussed, and if that in fact materializes or is an accurate estimate, as you pointed out in our work session, I would like, as Commissioner Chance has suggested earlier, to put possibly $1 million of that toward reducing our county debt. Paying down the county debt, I think, would advantage us and advantage our citizens as well. And I'm all for getting rid of debt and using some of that money in that way. So possibly at that time we could decide on whether to do that with the extra money or whatever. So for that reason, I just make a motion to postpone it for the same time period.
That next debt payment will be in fiscal year 2024.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to table the budget amendment for 2023. Any further questions or discussion?
For clarification, with 1 week with the new proposed meeting date.
Okay, all those in favor? Those opposed?
Motion carries 5-1.
Okay, we'll now move into the public hearing. I'm going to call on the county attorney and Ben Skipper.
You need to add any part, or? Okay, Madam Chairman, Commissioners, as y'all know, we've been working on the short-term work program, and to put it in football terms, we're at halftime. In 2018, we do a 10-year update, and then much like halftime during a football game, are there any plans, anything major changes that have occurred that would deviate the plan going through the next 5 years for the next update, which will be 2028. And meeting with the public, there were a few things that came out that they would like looking a little bit more at. Some of those were transfer of developable rights. The county looking maybe to advertise and encourage more of our ag easement program. Carroll County is one of only 2 counties in the state of Georgia that participates in a federal funded farmland preservation program. There's several farms out there. But the other reason is we did the update in 2018. Obviously, the 2020 census had not come out. And back in, I've now been here 10 years. The goal of previous administrations was to have a slow, conservative growth for Carroll County. From 2010 to 2018, we grew less than 10,000 people. So that's less than 1,000 people per year over that decade. The housing market has been strong with with the houses being built, there are the middle to upper end houses, so they are definitely providing towards our tax base. Now, moving on and get to the comp plan, here are some of the items that 5 years ago that were goals. Supporting the expansion of services to low to moderate income people, including the Carroll County Health Department and DFACS. That is one of those that's been completed. The County Health Department expansion. That was one of those short-term goals. We've completed it. Update and adopt a new zoning ordinance. We did update the zoning ordinance in 2021, so check completed. Coordinate between county departments to acquire compatibility permitting and licensing software to meet county needs. Again, the Board of Commissioners approved us, and it worked flawlessly during COVID. During COVID, my office was still able to complete inspections, and people who were wanting to build new houses, close on real estate, we were able to do all of that from home online with the software that the Board of Commissioners provided that we outlined 5 years ago. Check another completed. Replace bridges on Northwest Hickory Level Road. It's scheduled with GDOT, so that is currently under design right now by the Georgia Department of Transportation. Replace bridges on Burwell Road, completed. Replace bridges on Thomas Wilson Road, completed. Develop a panhandling ordinance, completed. Update radios, replace squad vehicles, completed. So these are just some of the things. There's a whole list. I don't want to take up everybody's time because all of this is online. You can read. But obviously there are several items that was in that 5-year short-term work program that we have completed in the 5 years. So that's kind of one of those. Thank you to the Board of Commissioners for providing the funding to those departments, because these are multiple departments that were involved in completing this 5-year short-term work program. I know we have a public hearing. This will be our 3rd public hearing. So if there's anyone here, and Stacy, this is kind of the part where you take over and maybe explain the public hearing procedures, but we'll let anybody speak at this time.
Yes, I think that's it. We'll just, Chairman, we can call for public comment, members of the public to come speak at this point.
Okay, at this time, we've opened the public comment section for the midterm comprehensive plan review required by the DCA and the state. Is there anyone here who would like to come and speak on this comprehensive plan? I'll ask again, okay?
Y'all haven't heard me in a while, so. I'm Dee Perry. I'm with the Georgia Agricultural Land Trust, located at 148 Clinic Avenue in Carrollton. I want to thank Michelle very much for appointing me to the steering committee for the comprehensive plan update. I learned a lot and got to discuss things with other members of the community, which was really a wonderful meeting of the minds. I want to thank Amy's not here tonight. I want to thank
Amy's battling a sinus
infection. I want to thank Amy because she worked really hard on the clerical end of this. That was a lot of work that she did, and she really did a great job. I really support what's been done in this update. There's a lot of good things in here, and I view the comprehensive plan as not just a way for us to get grant money, which is always a good thing, but I view it as our roadmap going forward. And I urge you all, if you haven't already taken a look at some of the specifics in here, there's just wonderful things in here that the county can do, many of them at very little to no cost, to just sort of propel us into the future. So thank you very much, and I hope you guys do like the update.
Is there anyone else here that would like to speak during the public comment section for the comprehensive plan? Well, seeing and not hearing anyone else, I'll close the public comments, and we will move into the actual vote. Is 10.4, the Carroll County Comprehensive Plan update. And so, Ben, I'll call you back. This is a consideration to update the comprehensive plan for the period of 2023 to 2028, and a resolution to transmit the 20-year comprehensive plan update to the Three Rivers Regional Commission, along with the Georgia Department of Community Affairs for review. So does anyone have any further questions for Ben concerning the plan?
Thank you.
We'll see and hearing none, I'll look for a motion.
Make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further questions or comments or discussion?
Thank you, Ben. It was good working with you, and thank you, Dee. It was good working with you, and thank you, Chairman, for having me on the steering committee. I appreciated it. Yeah.
Thank you for your participation.
Okay, all those in favor? Any opposed?
Motion carries 6-0.
And Chairman, I also want to tell you, someone that's a little bit hard of hearing, I can hear everybody tonight.
Right.
So,
Good.
it's fixed now, so thank you.
You're welcome. 10.5 is the inmate work detail agreement. Montreal has asked if we would postpone that till after the executive session to give him time to possibly get here. 10.6 is the appointment of elections and registration. Consideration of appointment to fill the Carroll County Board of Elections and Registration to fill the vacancy term that expires on December 31st, 2023. So I believe Commissioner Fuller.
Madam Chairman, I sent out a bio about a month ago for Angela Bevel. She's a resident in the 4th District. I feel she's very qualified to fill this position. She's active in the community. She's a retired administrator. And I'm not going to go through the entire bio because I sent it to all the other commissioners. So I would like to appoint her to the Carroll County Board of Elections and Registration.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. There's no further discussion. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Motion carries 6-0.
Okay, then we move into 10.7, appointments to the Development Authority from Districts 2, 4, and 6. So I'll ask Commissioner Chance, who do you want to reappoint or appoint?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I would like to reappoint Alan Martinez to the Development Authority. He is the owner of My Financial Services in Villa Rica, and I think has been very punctual, attending meetings, and has been a great asset to that board.
Commissioner Fuller?
I would like to appoint Cassie Marshall. Cassie served for 8 years on the Planning and Zoning Commission. And this will just be a lateral move to another board.
Commissioner Bailey?
I'd like to reappoint Keith West. He's served on this board and he's done a very good job of it, and I continue to look forward to him to be active in that community.
Okay, if I could have a motion and a second to appoint these 3 county citizens.
Motion to approve the 3 Districts 2, 4, and 6 appointees as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. There's no further discussion or questions or comments for the other, for 2, 4, and 6. I will ask for the vote. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Motion carries 6-0.
So at this time, we'd like to move into executive session. I do possibly expect a vote. I thought. So if I could have a motion and a second to move into executive session to discuss real estate and litigation.
Make a motion, to move into executive session.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Motion carries 6-0.
Okay, we will move into executive session. And a second to enter back into the regular meeting.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, at this time, we'll take no action from the executive session, but we will backtrack to 10.5, the inmate work detail agreement with the City of Carrollton. And Montrell is not here, and I've not heard from him, so we'll just proceed on as necessary. So I look for a motion and a second on the inmate work detail agreement with the City of Carrollton.
I'll make a motion that due to the labor pool shortage nationally and here in Carroll County, that we vote to end the contract and that we will still honor the 90-day notification period.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
You know, I made my comments very clear at the work session and won't go back all through those. You know, the prison was originally built here to provide Carroll County and most especially Public Works with inmate labor to help function day-to-day operations. At one point in time, obviously the county was completely staffed, and we had worked out some agreements, I think with different municipalities over the years to allow them to have utilization of a CO officer and up to so many inmates. I don't think there's an entity out there that doesn't have problems obtaining and retaining employees. It's simply the nature of the times that we're living in right now, and I believe that we're 6 to 7 CO officers short for the Public Works Department, and it's not just Public Works, it's everyone, all the different departments that we utilize officers and inmates in. So as I stated before, this has nothing to do with anything other than simply we're drowning, I think, in some of our areas, needing that inmate labor to perform day-to-day operations for the county. I had also mentioned before about the minimum inmates that I think some of the municipalities may be coming and utilizing them that's not requiring a CO officer. And as I stated before, I don't have a problem with the chairman allowing that. We don't have a contract with that regardless. So if they want to utilize that, as long as we can take care of our own obligations first, I wouldn't have a problem with them continuing that particular route, just not the contract and not the CO officers that are committed every single day of the week. So just wanted to clarify all my points.
Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of discontinuing the contract with Carrollton? All those opposed?
Motion carries 5-1.
At this point, I'll ask for a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting.
Motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?